baby boy. Talking to the fishies. You and me, son, are different. We're special. We're connected to the land and the sea. I can't wait to introduce you to all the majestic creatures on our planet and show you how awesome this world can be. Yeah, you and me.
I'm gonna kill Aquaman. Even if I have to make a deal with the devil to do it.
Free me from my prison, and all my power will be yours.
The key to this prison is the royal bloodline itself.
He needs us. We're the end of the bloodline.
No, we're not.
Yeah!
Manta took Junior.
He must be stopped.
I'm coming for you. He'll destroy everything he holds dear.
You want blood? Come get it!
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Back with another one. Today I'm going to give you a quick review and a few of my thoughts on Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So Aquaman 2 is the final DCEU movie and we've come a long way. Not the best way to end everything, but we'll get into that. Director James Wan returns alongside most of the cast members from the first Aquaman. Of course, Jason Momoa, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Patrick Wilson, Randall Park, Amber Heard, and Temuera Morrison. To give you a brief synopsis of the film, after failing to defeat Aquaman the first time, Black Manta wields the power of a legendary Black Trident, unleashing an ancient malevolent force. Hoping to end his reign of terror, Aquaman forges an unlikely alliance with his brother Orm, who is the former king of Atlantis. Setting aside their differences, they join forces to protect their kingdom and save the world. So Aquaman 2 takes place a few years after the events in the first film. Arthur Curry is balancing life not only as the king of Atlantis since defeating his brother, but he's also balancing life as a new father. The main threat of this movie, which is set up in the first movie with his motive of killing Aquaman for not saving his father, is Black Manta, who after his encounter with Aquaman in the first movie was defeated with his suit being extremely damaged and has his eyes set on getting revenge for what took place. So this is a revenge quest movie. I'm not going to break down the entire movie, just want to give you a few takeaways and what I thought about the film. I think that this movie suffered from identity crisis. At times it felt like a comedy movie with slapstick humor, and other times it felt dramatic and daring, and it was successful at being none of these things because it didn't choose a path and commit to it. I think Aquaman 2 had a lot of issues behind the scenes. Aquaman 2 faced many problems with production and filming. I think it switched writers a few times also. We have core members like Amber Heard going through legal hardships, ultimately leading to screen time and overall presence being extremely limited. She's basically cut from the film. We have last minute reshoots, stalled trailer promotions. All of these factors contribute to the outcome of the film, and although it wasn't a complete train wreck, the movie wasn't good. Aquaman 2 didn't hold any weight to me, it wasn't impactful, it didn't close out the DCEU with a big bang. When Zack Snyder was involved, the DCEU was known for its cinematic masterpieces, with deep themes and impactful moments. Aquaman 2 is like a popcorn movie, you know, something that is entertaining, but lacking in depth and substance. To be honest, I knew it would be that way. I didn't think this film was ever meant to be more than just a popcorn film. I think Aquaman 2 is one of those dumb fun type of movies, not to be taken serious at all. There was a scene where Aquaman and his brother were being chased by big bugs. I think they were grasshoppers if I'm not mistaken. When I see stuff like that, it's just hard for me to take the movie serious, you know, it's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? The predictability of this movie is another thing that I struggled with personally. When the movie is just so predictable, it's hard for me to enjoy it. Every time something bad was about to happen, one of the good guys will come and save the day. And it happened about 4 or 5 times in this movie. When that happens, it just takes away the fear factor. It's like, we know at the end of the day, the good guys will win, the bad guys will lose, and everything will be all right. And when the movie is like that, it's just hard for me to enjoy it. Especially when you're being chased by big grasshoppers, it just takes away so much from the movie. To me personally, it's hard to enjoy movies like this. Surprisingly, the pacing of this movie was actually pretty good though. It didn't seem to drag. Aquaman 2 was about 2 hours long. The first Aquaman was 2.5 hours long. So this movie wasn't boring, it just wasn't good. And I think that they're having trouble trying to figure out how to make good movies and make them entertaining at the same time. Or to be honest, maybe they just don't care, you know? I feel that Zack Snyder had a game plan. He was on the mark with Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. He had a plan, he had a vision. Those movies were actually good. Nowadays, these movies are just forced comedy, slapstick humor, and maybe a cameo here or there just to get people at the movie theater so they can get their money back. And the product overall is not good. It's just not good nowadays. So I don't think they care anymore. I don't think they care. It's just unfortunate, you know, because the DCEU started in 2013 with Man of Steel. I've been watching ever since. And it's just been a major difference in the quality of these films. Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League were the pinnacle. That's when things were at their peak. Nowadays, you got movies like Shazam 1 and 2, Flash, Blue Beetle was okay, Aquaman 2. It's just unfortunate to see how it ended versus how it started, you know? I think that Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, his performance in the movie is pretty good. I feel like he did the best he could with what he was given. I'm looking forward to see what he does next. I don't know if he's going to be in the James Gunn new DC universe or if he's maybe switch sides to Marvel. Either way it goes, I'm a fan of him and I would like to see what he does next. His performance in the movie is pretty good. It's just a shame that it's attached to this type of movie. There were a couple scenes in the movie that I thought were cool, probably 2 at most though, just being honest. There was a scene, I won't spoil it too much. Black Manta's in a house, he's in the dark, and his eyes light up, the red eyes light up, which reveal his body. I thought that was cool, it had a bit of a fear factor in there. And that's pretty much on brand for James Wan, the director, because he primarily directs horror movies. I think he was a part of the Conjuring movies, all 3 Conjuring movies, Insidious, The Nun, Annabelle, Malignant, and also a part of that 2004 Saw movie. So that scene being in there, that's on brand for James Wan. That's his bag. It kind of reminds me of the Darth Vader scene in Rogue One at the end when Darth Vader is in the hallway and that lightsaber pierces the darkness and it just illuminates the whole room. I thought that was pretty cool, so yeah. Another thing I liked about the movie was the ending fight scene between Black Manta and Aquaman. It looked good, it felt fresh, it wasn't slow and robotic, it was real free, and it stood out to me. The way that Aquaman closed out the DCEU, it makes me think about the future of the DC universe. James Gunn has announced his new rebooted DC universe, and I just hope that he takes notes on what works and what doesn't. Maybe these movies don't need to be forced jokes throughout the entire movie. Maybe you need to focus on writing, plots, substance, depth, something that'll hold on to the audience, you know? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Yep, so those are my thoughts on Aquaman 2. If you watched it, please leave a comment on what you thought about the movie. Maybe you got something from it that I didn't. So as always, thanks for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.